Hello, class 12 elective English students. You have been missing your classes, it's true, but you have your texts with you. And you know very well from class 11 experience that you have to read the texts very well. You are getting the notes for the poems, the poetry. As far as the play and the novel is concerned, you have to read on your own so as to be able to answer the essay type questions. Today, I will do a brief discussion on the play, A Doll's House. Okay, that is the play for your class 12 syllabus. The play is of 3 acts. Okay, you have read a modern play in class 11. You are familiar with the kind of drama that modern play is all about. So, Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House is a very popular play and it deals with contemporary society of his time. And it is also very pertinent today. Okay, the language is simple as it is in modern plays. So as you read the play, you will try and understand the situation and the significance of the title Doll's House. What is this doll's house and what is the significance of this title and how you are going to interpret it. Okay, the playwright does not comment on anything. He just narrates the sequences of events and certain characters and how they react to certain situations. Based on that, you form your own opinion about the characters and about the situation and about the social scenario that the play presents. Alright? Now, before you read the play, students, don't forget to read the introduction. You know very well it is very important to read the introduction of the play because that will help you in framing your essay type answers. Okay, 20 mark for each question. So that involves a lot of understanding, a lot of research and a lot of writing material along with, of course, the way you use quotation. You have done it in class 11 also. You just need to quote a few phrases. Alright. And then you come to the page where the characters are given. Fewer characters as compared to the Shakespearean plays, the classical play that you have read in class 10. The characters are Helmer, Nora his wife, Dr. Rank, Mrs. Christine Linde, Croxat, Annie Mary who is the nursemaid, Helene is the maid and Helmer's 3 children and there is a porter. The whole action of the play, all the 3 acts take place in Helmer's flat. Okay, so it's one room just like the modern play. There is a detailed description of the flat, how it is, so that you get a very fair idea of from where the characters are coming in, how they are going out, where they are standing and how they are reacting to situation and when the other characters come in. Okay, so read that all in detail. There is not much to understand as far as line by line interpretation is concerned because it is written in the simplest of language, the modern language. What we see in Act 1 is a household. Apparently a very happy household which at some time had faced a kind of financial crisis. But as of now, the crisis is over, they are better off now and so the wife wants to be a little easy with spending money. It's very close to Christmas and that is why she is in that festive mood and she wants to spend a little more, not on herself, that is very important, but as you read the scene, as you go through the scene, you will see she is more concerned about spending for her husband and for her children. Now that tells you that she is involved with the family, she is concerned with the family and she is thinking about giving some bit of happiness to them. That is her source of happiness too. Okay, so Nora's character as far as the first act is concerned is a kind of a dedicated housewife, dedicated homemaker we call it. Okay, so as she is a dedicated homemaker, she wants to keep her children and her husband happy. That is the basic character of Nora that comes out in Act 1. And then we see Helmer, the husband. Helmer is a professional, okay, and in spite of the fact that now their financial situation is better, He doesn't want to go over the board and spend too much. Okay, he is a careful man. Okay, as far as expense is concerned. Okay, as well as he believes in certain principles, a man of principles, you can say. Okay, and because of his principles, he is not ready to indulge into certain luxuries or certain advantages. These are the basic characters that you will come across as you read Act 1. But to keep the home going and to keep her family happy, Nora is ready to compromise a little on principles. Helmer is not. So Helmer judges people based on his principles. Nora is not so judgmental about people. Okay? He judges people based on principles. People based on his own principles. Remember, his principles. Okay? But Nora is not judgmental. She doesn't judge people so much. She goes with the tide. Her primary concern is her family, and for that reason, she's ready to compromise on principles a little. So as far as the conflict in the play is concerned, you know, play is always based on some kind of conflict. I've been telling you this. The conflict in the play, as far as the conflict in the play is concerned, the conflict will come because of this point. Nora is not judgmental, ready to compromise on principles because she's a dedicated homemaker. Whereas Helmer is more a man of principles and he judges people based on his principles. So the conflict arises out of it. Okay? Something that has happened before the play began, you know, prior to the action of the play, that will have its effect on the play. So by the time you come to the end of Act 1, you will see that this conflict is taking shape because something has happened prior to the action of the play. Now, as this comes to the surface, some previous incident that Nora is involved in, that acts as a kind of a disturbance, you know, if you call it the antagonist in the play. The protagonist is the main character. So, if Nora is the protagonist in the play, the antagonist is something that has happened prior to the play, prior to the action of the play. Okay, so against Nora stands some event, some incident that she was involved in before the action of the play starts. Now, why she was involved in that action depends on understanding the character of Nora as we see her right in the first act itself. As you read through the first act, you will feel that the person that Nora is, she's so dedicated to her home, to the happiness of her family, her husband and her children, that she is ready to go for any kind of compromise just to keep her family happy. Now, whether that is right or wrong is for you to decide. But that is how the playwright presents the play. Remember, the characters in a modern play are not larger than life. They are not as brilliant or as sacrificing as Antonio, or as dedicated a lover or a friend as Bassanio, neither so extravagant also. They are characters who have their weaknesses, like modern man. We are more prone to weaknesses. So these characters which are involved in the play are not ideal characters. You know, you cannot find them picture perfect. They are not idealistic characters. They are not idealistic. Okay? They are compromising somewhere. Modern play characters are not idealistic characters because they are victims of situation. They are never stronger than the situation around them. Now, how they fight the situation around them is what modern play is all about. So, a situation is a reason, and how Nora deals with that situation, and what is Helmer's view about that situation. That is all we come to know in this play. And Act 1 sets the stage for understanding this conflict. How does the antagonist come in? You see the antagonist coming against the protagonist in the play. Why the antagonist has its place in the play against the protagonist Nora? That is because of the basic character of Nora. So the first act actually tells you what kind of a person Nora is, what kind of a person Hilmar is. And by the time Act 1 comes to an end, you see this confusion, this conflict, this tension coming in. You see the tension in the play that builds up. And what is the source of the tension? Something that has happened prior to the play, but that all depends on the character of Nora. And why the conflict? Because of the character of Hilmar. The conflict wouldn't have come if Hilmar wouldn't have been the man that he is. A situation had a reason, and the situation was dealt with by Nora in a way which Hilmar will not approve of. That is the play all about. So read Act 1. That is not a very difficult play as far as understanding is concerned, understanding the language. Okay, so read Act 1 thoroughly. Try and understand the characters on the line that I have written here. Okay, analyze the characters like that. Take an exercise book. From the informations that you are getting in the play, write down the characteristic of these two people mainly. And as you write down their characters, write the quotes which actually reveal that character in them. Okay, which words of Nora tells you that she is a dedicated homemaker. So you write dedicated homemaker and you write within quotes which are the phrases. So that is how you are actually preparing yourself for the answer. Another character comes in, Mrs. Linde. Now, Mrs. Linde's character, more than judging Mrs. Linde, you have to understand what is the purpose of Mrs. Linde in the play. Why does Mrs. Linde come in the play? The purpose of Mrs. Linde, that is also very important. So read the play, keeping in mind these points that I have told you. Okay, and very soon I will get back to you with kind of explanation of the scene. Thank you, students. Stay healthy and wait for some question from this scene of the play. All right.